The Zarek High Council had miscalculated. Badly. General Vextor stood at the observation window of the cloaked orbital platform, his scaled skin flushing purple with rage, as he watched the scene unfolding on Earth's surface. What should have been a bloodbath, a swift extermination of the primitive bipeds, had instead become this absurdity. "Explain," he hissed to the science officer beside him. Science officer Miraleth's fins flattened against her skull, a sign of extreme distress. "We don't fully understand it ourselves, General. The Ravagers were supposed to devastate their population centers. They're the apex predators of Nexus 9, virtually unstoppable killing machines. We engineered them specifically to target human biochemistry. Below them, in what humans called Central Park, a female human casually tossed a stick. A massive Ravager, 9 feet of muscle, teeth, and claws bounded after it with its tongue lolling out of its tooth-filled maw. And yet, Vextor said, his voice dangerously quiet, they appear to be playing fetch. The invasion had begun 3 Earth months ago. The Zarek had seeded major human cities with thousands of Ravager eggs disguised as meteorite debris. The creatures had hatched, grown to maturity within days, and then the unexpected happened. The humans hadn't run. They hadn't cowered. Instead, they had adapted with alarming speed. "Show me the footage again," Vextor commanded. The holographic display activated, showing recordings from their surveillance drones. A Ravager cornered a human child in what appeared to be a dwelling unit. The creature snarled, displaying rows of serrated teeth designed to shred bone. The small human, rather than displaying appropriate terror, had extended its hand and made soft vocalizations. The Ravager had hesitated. Then, inexplicably, it had lowered its massive head and allowed the child to touch it. "We believe they're using some form of biochemical manipulation," Miraleth offered. "Perhaps pheromones, or they're primitives." Vextor slammed his clawed hand against the viewport. "They barely have space travel. They haven't even unified their planet under a single government." The display shifted to another location, a human military installation. Soldiers in camouflage attire were fitting Ravagers with equipment, training them to respond to commands, to track scents, to guard perimeters. The creatures were designed to be untrainable, Miraleth said, her voice barely above a whisper. Their neural pathways should not allow for domestication. And yet, the display changed again. A human dwelling, a Ravager, curled on a soft cushion, while a human child slept against its armored hide. "They've turned our bioweapons into pets." Vextor spat the unfamiliar word like a curse. A communication chime interrupted them. "Report," Vextor commanded. A nervous subordinate appeared on screen. "General, we've intercepted transmissions. The humans have named the Ravagers. They're calling them space dogs or cosmic hounds. They've established breeding programs. Some human nations are already incorporating them into their military forces." Vextor's scales darkened further. "And the toxin sacs? The poison claws? The genetic programming to kill humans? Selectively bred out within 2 generations, sir. Their geneticists worked remarkably quickly. The humans appear to understand selective breeding on an intuitive level." The general turned away from the viewport, unable to watch anymore. Humans had taken the deadliest predators the Zarek could engineer and turned them into companions in a matter of months. The implications were disturbing. "Sir," Miraleth said hesitantly, "there's more. Our intelligence suggests they're reverse engineering Ravager genetics. They're learning about our own biology through the modifications we made." "Impossible," Vextor whispered, but without conviction. "And sir, they're looking up." She pointed to the display, which now showed arrays of telescopes and radar installations tracking their supposedly cloaked observation platforms. In the park below, a human female, scratched behind the ears of a creature that should have torn her to pieces. The Ravager's eyes closed in apparent pleasure. We should never have sent predators against a species that has spent its entire evolutionary history domesticating predators, Miraleth observed quietly. General Vextor stared at the display, at the humans who refused to become prey. They had faced monsters from the stars and made them into friends. What would they do to the Zarek if full-scale war began? Prepare for immediate withdrawal, he ordered, and mark this system with the highest danger classification. As their ship pulled away from Earth orbit, Vextor watched a final transmission, a human child asleep, protected by the very nightmare they had sent to devour her. The Zarek had created predators, but humans had created allies. And that made them far more dangerous than the High Council had ever imagined.